Your work in the case dealt with real facts and real issues that led to your real opinions. An attorney will sometimes change one or two of the relevant facts in the case and then ask you questions to see how they would change your thinking in the case. His hypothetical question may not even be possible. You can point that out and state that it is not even a feasible alternative. You need to stay alert, though. The hypothetical question usually presents feasible alternatives and variations in the facts. If you have already considered those alternatives, then you probably do have an opinion about what the hypothetical changes might mean. Let me give you an example of how to counter this hypothetical question technique. Question. Mr. Expert, I'd like you to assume the following fact. No password is required to access Mr. Defendant's computer. I'd also like you to assume the following fact as well. The defendant was homesick on the day the computer was used to break into my client's network. Isn't it possible that someone else could have used his computer on that day, and that other person could be responsible for the electronic break-in? Your answer possibly is, I will make those assumptions, comma, but my own investigation of the defendant's whereabouts and the defendant's computer do not support those facts. So the key tactic here to recognize is that you should differentiate the facts in the case from the suggested facts of any hypothetical question. A goal of the opposing attorney in offering a hypothetical alternative is to have you enunciate a new opinion that may be different from the one you presented in your report. You have to respond to hypothetical questions. You can't avoid them, but you also have to clarify why any response to a hypothetical differs from your opinions in this case. Remember, this possible new opinion is based on a hypothetical situation. The attorney would like to take your new response and ask you to explain why your opinion has changed. He will put you on the defensive to explain why your opinion is not the same in this case as it is in the hypothetical questions situation. If the attorney is sharp, then the hypothetical changes will be subtle enough to possibly confuse the jurors and possibly even confuse you or make you unsure of your original results and opinions. If the hypothetical question is complex and possibly confusing, do not hesitate to restate it or ask if your restatement is correct. Your restatement, of course, should be simple, reasonable, and, if possible, make any absurdities in the hypothetical question apparent to the jury. Question. If the defendant only lives 25 miles from his office, isn't it possible that he had plenty of time to drive home, murder his wife, and return to his office before his normal lunch hour was over? Answer. I want to be sure that I understand your question. Are you asking me whether I believe that it was possible in 1 hour for the defendant to leave his desk at noon on the 7th floor of his office building in downtown Los Angeles, walk to his car, drive through downtown Los Angeles traffic, cover 50 miles from his office to his home and back again, park his car, walk back to his office, and be back to his desk by 1 p.m.? Is that your question? I know. It's a little pushy, but hypothetical questions are sometimes silly and sometimes purposefully subtle. Subtlety on the attorney's part requires acuity on your part. Take your time in answering. Think through the proposed hypothetical question carefully. Identify what differences exist between the hypothetical and the facts in the case that you have analyzed. Identify the differences between the real and the hypothetical situation. You should try to anticipate where the opposing attorney is going and why the proposed hypothetical situation should not affect your opinions and conclusions in this matter. As long as you can identify and enunciate the differences between the real case and the hypothetical one, then you can simply point those differences out. You can explain why the real facts and the hypothetical proposal do not have the same basis. You should be able to explain why the opinions one could draw in the hypothetical situation would naturally be different